welcome to yet another episode of Face to Face. My name is Godfred Akoto Boafo. My guest today is somebody I'm always happy to speak to. A former journalist, let me say he's a current politician, but he's a former journalist, one a lot of young folks like myself looked up to when we were young. Today he has worked for presidents, and he's still working for a former president while serving the people of Odododoodio as their member of parliament. Honorable Edwin Lante Vanderpuye is my guest. Honorable, welcome.
Thank you, bro.
It's always a pleasure to see you.
I'm also always happy when I meet you. I'm happy you are continuing the work we left.
Yes, you started the journey, and we are continuing after admiring you from afar and then getting to know you. But
we're getting old now, so the young ones should take over.
I can see the grey. Last I heard, you were busy making a prediction. John Dramani Mahama is going to win by 95%. Last week, Saturday, we watched John Dramani Mahama won to become flag bearer of the NDC by 95%. We asked you several times last year, where were you getting your numbers from? You didn't tell us. Perhaps now that you've won, you can share. Where did the confidence come from?
Well, thank you very much. Let me say, I'm so pleased to have you with me here. You see, politics is not just about making pronouncements. It's about doing analysis. And you, somebody, a very analytical person like you should understand. Over the years, we've come to appreciate one fact, that before you be able to correctly diagnose the ills of your party, you should know the people who really are in the party. Then you can know how they think, how they behave, how they react to things, and then decide what to do. You remember before the congress between Professor Mills and Nana Konadu, I said it, that Konadu will not get more than 3%, and she didn't get more than 3%. Because I have worked with almost all the delegates, all the constituencies. I've worked with them. With President Mahama, what we did was that between April 2017, when we came to Parliament, immediately we had a meeting in Parliament. 5 of us, Honorable Nusa Fuseni, John Jenapo, I, Kofi Boa, and then Samson Ahi, and then later on Eric Opoku, and then some others joined. And we said, look, let's on our own look at what happened. How did we lose? So we did analysis, and we all gave reasons. Before the Kwesibocho Committee, I was privileged to have been part of the Kwesibocho Committee.
Oh.
I and Samson Ahi. So we went around the country. And when we were going around the country, in spite of the fact that we were picking up what really went wrong with elections, the people were also telling us what to do before 2020. And everywhere, they were telling us, bring John Mahama back. Bring John Mahama back. Even at that, let me say, early stages of the defeat, where we are still in that, let me say, sad mood, we're confused as to what the future looks like, and all. We're not even sure about Mahama himself. And we've heard a pronouncement being made by family members and things that he won't contest again, he won't do it. So, in fact, when I came back to Parliament, I told these colleagues of ours, I said, look, why don't we go to him? So we went to him, a few of us, about 12, 15 hours. We went to him. And he said, let me be frank with you. Before I take the decision to contest these elections, I will have to do wide consultations. Not within NDC, but outside NDC. I said, okay, go ahead. But this is what we have picked. So on our first long break, what we decided to do was that we should all go to our constituencies, consult with our constituency people, and look at their thinking. And when we came back, the results were conclusive. Then we said, we are only 106. There are more constituencies outside our constituencies than ours. Maybe their thinking is different. So now, the next break, let's go to those constituencies. So what we decided to do was to share the orphan constituencies among ourselves. So we are 106, and then we shared the orphan constituencies. And then what happened was that we decided that let's take out the leaders. So Honorable Abambagwin, Aruna Duisu, Aveji, Mutaka, Ahmed, Doyo out. But Doyo and Ahmed like this, even though they were leaders, they said, no, you can't play us out. So they also decided to help. So, Godfred, what we did was that when we have consulted with the orphan constituencies, it came to the conclusion that they were more eager to see JM back on the ballot than even us. Because almost all NDC people have come to say that the party and we, the grassroots, rather let JM down and not JM letting us down. Because they all saw the sort of resources he made available, the sort of help he gave to parliamentary candidates, and they saw that it is the party on the ground, the executives and the other functions who did not really do their work well. That's why the party lost. It's born out of a petty squabbles, petty fights and disagreements amongst us. I didn't get T-shirt, I didn't get the rice which was shared, I didn't get the handkerchief, I didn't get this. The small things people got annoyed with. This person insulted me, this person did this, we're going to Accra, I was excluded. So, petty things. So, people cumulatively decided that, look, if these were the things that let us down, then we really have not done our work well as executives. Because it is no more the general, but we the troops who have let the general down. So why don't we bring the general back? So then we came and extended invitation to other members of parliament who were not part of the original team. So we said, okay, let's form MPs for JM. Every week we're going to have a meeting. The number kept on increasing. So from 13 to 15, 18, 24, the next time we're 51, then 73, then 94. So when we got to 94, by the time we got to 94, the thing has gone round in this house. In fact, we were doing this secretly, outside this place. But all of a sudden, people got to hear. Then we were like, why are you excluding me? This one will come, why are you excluding me? This one will come, why are you excluding me? So we said, okay, fine, everybody should come on board. So we sent a memo out, and then everybody should sign.
That famous...
yes. So that day, in fact, we made a mistake by giving it out to the people in the chamber. So there was a heading. So if you don't belong to the group, you don't sign. So I remember very well one of our colleagues who picked it up and said, why? And I said, I will not permit you to sign. He said, why? I want to sign. I said, no, I will not allow you to sign because you are not part of this team. He said, how do you know? I said, I know that you don't belong to us. It raised a lot of debate. I decided that let's forget about it. So we conclusively decided that, look, this is the list we want. There were one or two others that people said, look, we should let them come. We should talk to them. I said, no. If they are committed to it, when they hear about it, they will come. And I'll be surprised. I'll tell you, I was so surprised when they themselves walked in. One is a senator, for example. Initially, we were not too confident. But she came out and said, look, I like JM more than you do. So why are you keeping me away? I want to be part of it. And she happily came. So from there, we said, okay, let's give ourselves 2 weeks and go back to the man. We went back to the man. And he also told us the sort of consultations he's done. And we were surprised at the sort of people he has talked to. And the sort of people who have also advised him on what to do. And sort of, let me say, how to rebrand the campaign, a sort of messages we should, all those things, not knowing, have been collected already within the 6 months. So we saw that, look, these are some of the things we didn't do before 2016, if we've done these wide consultations.
By that time, had you taken notice of the other 5 or 6 individuals who had also reared their heads looking to challenge?
Oh, yeah. Because, for example, some of them have consulted with some of us. In fact, me, I was consulted by almost all of them. And
you told them they should go ahead?
No, I told them point blank, but I've taken a stand. I'm for JM. But please, let me tell you point blank. If I were you, I would rather support JM. And then maybe consider yourself in pole position for a running mate. I've advised some of them. They didn't take it. Because there was no way they could win. Let
me ask you something. One of the biggest considerations that people outside of the NDC have had is the former president can only contest 1 term. So why bring him forward? Amongst yourselves internally, did this also matter in the decision-making process?
Yes, it did. It did. We considered it. But we said, like, 4 years of his presidency, what he achieved for this country, if he could achieve the same thing for another 4 years, Ghana will move so fast. Our idea is that 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, 20 years are just a matter of numbers. It's how effective the person executes his office. That is important to us. So if you look at what John Mahama achieved in 4 years in the area of energy, education, health, road infrastructure, let me say, okay, even these areas, these 4 areas, significantly. If every president will do that, you can imagine what Ghana will be like. So we said that 4 years, 8 years, it doesn't really matter. What we are interested in is for him to come back and move Ghana a little bit up, so that the next president who will come will also move a little bit up. I believe sincerely that if, for example, John Mahama came into office in 2013, and potable water coverage, the whole Ghana was about 57%, and by the time he was exiting, he has moved it to 82%. If Nanado can also move from 82% to 90%, Ghana will be better for all of us. It's the same way if John Mahama moved road network to this number. If Nanado will continue, then we are moving forward as a country. So issue of somebody being in office for 4 years, 8 years does not really matter. That was the consideration. That was the argument we put up. That some people are talking about, we need somebody who will chalk 8 years. Somebody could be in office for 4 years. It will be a disaster. You understand? So the issue is about, let's concentrate on 4 years. What we can achieve within the 4 years. I want to see a Ghana where somebody will come and say, as a president, my whole 4 years is going to be in agriculture. Take this country from the, let me say, peasant farming agriculture to mechanized agriculture. Turn Ghana into a green country within 4 years. I will clap for that person. That person, somebody come and say, I want to make sure within 4 years there is total eradication of, let me say, illiteracy. You understand? Then as a country, we are moving. Because other countries, what they do is to diagnose problems of the country. And for example, decide that this is what we want to achieve. Let me give you an example. I read a book where South Korea saw that they were having problems with the sciences. So do you know what they did? They programmed themselves that for the next 4 to 10 years, our education is going to focus on the sciences. Push their young ones to take science subjects, do science, do science. And today, look at Korea. So as a country, today we sit down. We don't know what our unemployment figures are.
We haven't known for a long time.
Because me and you sitting down here, our education is not tailored towards the sort of job creation we are looking for. We are producing graduates in human resource management, project management, our social sciences. What work would they do? I'm looking at Ghana, where Ghana will say that for the next 10 years, our focus is going to be on agriculture. So how do we encourage, or how do we change our curriculum to focus on how to produce graduates who will feed our Greek industry? The next 10 years, we want to have more doctors. How do we change our curriculum to make sure our schools focus on medical science, biological sciences, that we can produce the doctors we want? This is what we call progressive government. But if people are talking about 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, and there's no substance in it, there's no policy drive that will make sure that the 4 years will be able to give Ghana or take Ghana from one step to the other, then we are wasting our time as a country.
And this is what John Dramani Mahama is
that is what we are thinking. Our new manifesto, our new focus of government will be focused towards directing the government, the needs of Ghana, towards particular policy frameworks that will satisfy the needs of individuals and the collective body of the country.
Let me ask you this. There was criticism that former President John Dramani Mahama ran a celebrity presidency with a groupie around him. And people are saying that is what distanced him from the party. What do you say to that? And if so, has that been resolved?
I don't really know what they mean, because I believe that President Mahama was a very humble, down-to-earth, free president. Because as a minister...
But been said several times, I could not find him. I could not speak to him. Only a few people like Lante Vanderpuye call him and talk to him.
No, for example, let me say this. As a minister, sometimes I call him. I walk to his house. You know, the football, when he gave me the appointment, the sort of problems we had in sports. And when it's difficult, I walk to him. And he's ready to listen to me. As we are talking, he's taking his breakfast. No, it's not a matter of liking me. He knows that he's giving me a responsibility. So when I have problems, I come to him, as listen to me, and give me the opportunity to solve the problem. I remember very well when we had a critical issue of the Blasters playing. There was a match you have to play, an emergency we didn't have. We were having problems with flights. So we need to get a commercial flight or, let me say, chartered flight. We took the decision at the stadium with the GFA people. They told me, Minister, this is the emergency we have. We didn't have money. I walked to him. I said, Mr. President, this is the problem we have. Please, help us. I said, talk to Chief of Staff. And within hours, the problem was resolved. The green light was given, not within even. So, green light was given before we wrote a letter of request. That's how open the presidency was. So, sometimes when I hear these things, I don't know. But I was a deputy minister. My ministers then did not have that problems. I was a minister. I became a minister. I didn't have those problems. So I don't know what people talk about. But definitely, you see, even in this under Nana Ado's government, we've had worse situations where people comments that Nana Ado has surrendered himself with his family and his friends. But when you look at it, it's real. Because when you have Asante Bede to there, Gabi Oshidakun, and all these people there, then it's so ministerial appointments, it's family and friends. You see, and people are complaining. Ministers, MPP appointees are complaining that having access to Nana Ado is a problem.
Need even complaining to you.
But Kennedy Yapon was on there. He said that people have to pay money. A+ said it. All the MPP people have said it. That it's difficult to meet to the president. You have to pay money to people. I never saw that. Professor Mills, I was the director of operations at the presidency. Under President Mama, I was a deputy minister and became a minister. There was no time I heard these things, I saw this. I hear people saying it, but I don't know how. Professor Mills used to keep his phone. He could call the plantain seller. He could call that taxi driver he talked to 2 years before he became president. He could call me and say, have you seen that woman selling bread at this place? Go and give this envelope to her. And let me talk to her.
But he was different. Was John Dramani Mahama like that?
I'm saying that as far as I'm...
bread seller?
I know situations where the president has driven himself to the barbering shop. He's riding his motorbike to go and buy KK at Jamestown. John Dramani Mahama. You understand? He's been buying that KK for long. So sometimes he just picked the motorbike, he rides the motorbike to go and buy the KK. He will be buying the KK, people will be calling me, I'll rush before I get there, he's gone. You understand? The people will be teasing you. Your president came to buy KK, you were not here. So it happens. But it's a few people who always, negative news sells fast. Yeah, people will say these things about. But let me say this. Even if that it were so, I think he said it last time that he's learned from his mistakes. It's good that we give people opportunity to learn from their mistakes and to correct them. It's better for the NDC, for John Mahama, who has been there before. He saw the mistakes he did, which led to our defeat in 2016, to come back and do things better, than to bring somebody who has never been there before. He doesn't know how the thing works, and he will come and make worse mistakes than we experienced in 2016.
So, the decision has been made. He is going to be the flag bearer. Your friends on the other side seem as excited as you are.
He's the flag bearer.
Yes, but your friends on the other side are as excited as you are by this.
They are
the
lying.
way you are enjoying it, they also seem to be enjoying it.
They are lying.
All their pronouncements are that he's the one we wanted.
MPP have never had sleepless nights since Mahama decided that he was going to contest from that day. And we interact with them. They are never comfortable.
They say if it is
Nana Ado tells you that he slept quietly from last Saturday he's lying. I'm telling you. Look, he's been president before. What the elderly will see sitting down, the young ones will climb the tallest tree, they will never see. So as president, the sort of connections he has, information, how to get the sort of information and all those things, now is better positioned to have that relationship, that ability to be able to harness all these resources than he was when he was a president. Because today, he is not in that privileged position with all the focus. You understand? He can walk freely to you, to anybody, and talk to the person. Some time ago, it was difficult for him to just get out and go out because of security implications as a president. Today, he can walk and go to the market. He can go anywhere. So his campaign today will be much more effective than him when he was president.
They say it's going to be a campaign of legacy versus legacy. What legacy is
that is what we are looking for.
MPP says free SHS. 1D, 1F.
Where?
Planting for food and jobs.
Where?
What is Mahama bringing? You tell us.
Let me tell you this. The MPP themselves know. Even when we're discussing, today when we started the debate on the SONA, now all that they talk about is that don't compare 4 years to 2 years. Don't compare 4 years to 2 years. By that time, Nana will be 4 years. In fact, he's already getting into 3 years. Agrobesa Efranopa. What have we seen? They've borrowed close to $55 billion. You know, what have they achieved? Not to talk about our taxes that they collect. 2 years. What have they done with it? I saw you do. I listened to you do analysis the last time. Planting for food and jobs. If you talk about planting for food and you sunk 700 million Ghana cedis into planting for food and jobs, what have been the effect? What have been the effect? They talk about exporting grain, maize. As far back as 2011, Ghana was exporting maize through the Ghana World Food Program to the Sahel regions. As far back as 2011.
They're saying we didn't import, which is also important. It's a very important metric.
Who said Ghana was importing maize as of 2011? We had surplus. In fact, the colleague who was handling buffer stock is a member of parliament, Eriko Sewusu. We set up the buffer stock company, buying produce. The same buffer stock today they are talking about, we set it up.
So you don't fear a legacy for legacy comparison?
Look, we have ready for it. Okay. We are ready for the legacy to legacy. 4 years. You know something? Free SHS, the traffic light we are suffering. Today, I'm paying more money for my constituents who have sat home for 3 months for vacation classes than they would have paid even they were not enjoying free education.
Lante, Vanderpuye, Honorable Member of Parliament for Odododoodio. You hold your horses for me. I want to talk about your constituents when we return. You are listening to Face with the Member of Parliament for Odododoodio. Welcome back to Face. And before we left, Honorable, you were talking about your constituents. You're a member of Parliament for Odododoodio.
Yeah.
One of the most densely populated and yet most impoverished areas of the capital. You've been a member of Parliament since 2012.
Yeah, 2013.
2013. How are things going? Are lives improving over there?
Well, let me say this. Lives are improving, but the difficulties are also enhancing. we're having difficulties managing. For example, sanitation. The president, in the State of the Nation address, conceded that there have been challenges. In fact, today we have one junction, one baller in Accra. Every junction, you have refuse. Every junction.
Born out of citizen irresponsibility?
1. 2, the AMA's ineffectiveness. 3, the fact that...
Are you still under the AMA, by the way?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
I am.
They've been chopping it away like...
Virtually right now, I am AMA.
Yes.
Virtually, it was left with my constituency and then I blocked myself. And virtually, two to us when taken away. So virtually, so me and the former mayor, we are AMA now. Yeah, the difficulty we are the sanitation is becoming much of a problem. We can't bear it. It's becoming too much, and I don't know what is happening. We're seeing some activities being done to enhance sanitation, but still it's becoming very difficult to manage. The level of filth in Accra is just too much. That is what is worrying us. 2, we're also facing a lot of problems because more people have entered Accra now. The central business is choked. And traffic management has become a problem.
I spoke to the mayor of Accra. He says traffic has improved in Accra.
Oh, but you will have experienced it. How long it takes you to drive from city to UTC?
I haven't driven that route in a
Then
while.
try it and see. It will take about an hour. If somebody walks, the person will get to Accra before you get to Accra when you are driving. Because between Republic House and railways, it could take about an hour. What annoys me is the fact that you see the indiscipline of drivers, people loading on the street, and you see people who are mandated to make sure that nuisance do not occur, but they don't care. It's the same with the electricity road up to Rollins Park. It's bad. And you can't do anything about it. And it's creating a lot of tension in the city center because people are always fighting. Drivers are fighting. People have taken half of the street to sell. And nobody's talking about it. And it's a problem. The other side has to do with education, as I started.
Yes. How to do?
It's difficult. It's difficult for us to manage because those first-year SHS students who came home are still home. Second
even
term.
Before you get to that one, we did a report there, City News.
Yeah.
And there seems to be even a reticence to attend school.
Yeah.
In the first place, for them to even get to the point where you spend your money on vacation classes.
Yeah.
People seem content just to quit school in your neighborhood.
No, because
you are a member of parliament.
Because it's a city center. It's a city center, and I said commercial activity is so high. People, money. Everybody is talking about money. Everybody wants to have money. And the young ones especially want to be rich quick. So what you have to do is always embark upon programs that will attract them to the classroom. We look at schools to rehabilitation, for example.
Are you doing
one
that?
One of the things I'm frustrated about as a member of parliament is that all the schools projects we started under the NDC government are at a standstill.
In your
2 years, yes, 2 years standstill. The Simpe school is at the Millennium School is at a standstill. Private Lante school is at a standstill. Independence Girls Avenue School rehabilitation is at a standstill. A little cluster of schools we're building 2 get fund projects there. They are all at standstill.
So where do the students go?
So it's made the classrooms choked. Because we're doing this rehabilitation, we demolish some old structures and push the school children into other classes, thinking that within 18 months we'll have finished and then they'll come out. For example, the Simpe school virtually did some, let me say, a makeshift structure for them at the Freeman Methodist, old Freeman Methodist compound. We call the place Crew Town in Jamestown. The place is not conducive for education. But because we knew that this thing was going to finish within 18 months for them, they agreed. And now, so they are frustrated. So when the environment is not good, they get out of the classroom and walk around or go to bed, what do you call it? Super bed and all those and play games. And that is what is killing us. It's difficult for us to talk about this, but then the truth of the matter is that it's leading to so many social vices in the community. Child prostitution is high. Drug abuse is high now. And the worst of all, let me say it here. Today, they say there's a dance called Yeroro. Well, there's some music called Yeroro. And when the music is being played, the girls have to go. You have to undress.
And it's happening in your constituency.
It's happening. And it's traumatizing me. Because I don't know how to solve this. The thing is that I've talked to leaders, I've talked to chiefs, I've talked to opinion leaders, and I'm struggling because I go to them, I've talked to the police, let's arrest them, let's do this. But some of the time, people don't understand you. They think as a politician, these are the actions you dare not take because it will affect you. But I don't care. Because I've not just been chosen as a politician, I've been chosen as a leader. And I should be the one to lead my people from the ills and the social vices and all the things that will not augur well for their development. So I don't really care the repercussions of politics. I want to make sure that I leave a legacy. And that legacy should be a positive impact on the lives of the people.
Yours is a fishing community, and last year the government proposed a closed season. We know it's going to happen this year. Has the interaction improved between your people, yourself, and the government on what is happening? Because we do know that is the main source of work for most of the people. The
worst situation of the fishing folk is the premix fuel. They are not getting a premix.
They are still not getting it?
They are not getting it regularly. And when they get, it's political. If you're not a member of the ruling party, you don't get it.
Break it down for me. How is it that premix is such a politically sensitive topic? It is fuel. How is it that you need to go the party card to get fuel?
Because it's managed by party people. It's managed by party people. For example, the constituency organizer of the MPP is the one managing the premix in my constituency.
Why is it so politically sensitive? What is the capital?
I don't know. I don't know why people... Because I thought that as a government, if you construct a road, it's for all Ghanaians. Because it's not only NDC people who drive on the road, or not only MP people. The same way it should be the fact that if you bring premix and people get and go for fishing, it's rather bring more fish, reduce the cost and the price of fish on the market. But people who do those things do not think about the repercussions. Fish is becoming more expensive because people are not getting the premix to go for fishing and bringing more fish. So people are importing fish. And it's making the price of fish very, very difficult, very expensive. But the MPP operatives who are handling these things do not think about it, they think about themselves. People are smuggling the premix, being diverted, because according to the fishermen, the premix is brought today, by the next morning, it's gone. In the middle of the night, they sell the premix to people they have to sell to, they divert them, it's cut into gallons and sent away. They see it. And they complain to me. And when you talk about this, people don't care. People just don't care. And it's affecting the work of the fishy folks. 2, the women are suffering because their men are not bringing the fish for them to get the fish and sell. So it's suffering. It's breaking homes. Because the women are those who take care. If you come to our community, it's the women who take care of our homes. Because the men bring the fish. They give it to their wives, sell it and manage the house. And if the fish is not coming, the man stays home, the man goes to fish, he comes back, there's no fish. The woman cannot get anything to sell. There's confusion. So these things are social implications of the actions of the political actors, which they are not conscious of. For example, just this morning, there's been a serious demolition in Odododoodio along the beach. There? Because they said the mini harbour project.
But that's been in the works for a long time.
Yes, since the days of Professor Mills.
Yes.
The CDB loan. The second tranche was supposed to take care of the 6 mini harbors and the landing beaches. And then the railways. I was part of the team that went to China. So I know what is coming to my area. We passed that loan agreement in 2014 and 2016. We ratified it in Parliament. I was a member of Parliament. And I know what is coming to my place. I saw the drawings because I was part of the consultations which were done, the stakeholder meetings which were done with the fisher folk, with the chiefs and the chief fishermen. The late Obrimpong Kojabebio's palace, we had about 6 meetings. The consultant on the project is the junior brother of Betty Modi, who is called Mr. Lante Mold. We had series of meetings. And I know what the plan is. As soon as this government comes, they've altered the plan, where we're supposed to have a social infrastructure, the schools, the hospital, the clinic, and also the sheds and things for the fishermen. have all of a sudden been added to the whole thing. So the whole place has been demolished. The shed I built for the fisher folks has been demolished.
Today?
Yes. And everything. And people who were not supposed to be affected by the project have been affected. Everybody is crying. And that is what I said. I said, how come? Because as a member of parliament, normally I don't complain about things. I always don't want to talk about problems. I talk about solutions. But the difficulty I'm having is that these are people who have voted for you. These are people who have voted for the government. And all of a sudden, without notification, you come and demolish everything.
Are you sure about this? The president was there
to cut a sword.
The
yes.
And cut a sword.
They cut a sword.
Were
yes.
you there?
I wasn't there. I wasn't invited.
Oh.
Yes, I wasn't invited.
Really?
Yes. That day, I was at a program on the commissioning of the new AMA office. I was given an invitation for the commission of the new AMA office. I was never given invitation for the sword cutting of the mini.
So what are you going to do about this particular situation?
I'm going to talk about it in Parliament. I'm going to put up a question for the minister, the regional minister, to come and answer why the demolition at the place without authority, without notification of the people who are there. 2, I'm going to put up a question on the Minister of Fisheries to answer. The people are crying about the premix fuel. Why are they not getting it? And if they are getting it, the diversion, is she aware of the diversion that is happening at the premix fuel? In fact, there was this issue about it that premix fuel have been diverted almost worth 21 million. It was in the media. You people talk about it 2 days and you left. So you couldn't sustain the story. So it's gone. The problem with the Ghanaian media.
No, there was a committee set up on this. There's a report that the government says they don't want to share.
They don't want to share?
Yes. Perhaps you are a member of parliament and you can insist and ask the government to share the premix reports with you.
But
when you ask that question.
But you can also do that.
We have done several times, Honorable. They are not sharing. So when you get up in parliament, I am giving you homework as well to ask that question. You can ask
I will do that. I will do that.
You want the premix committee report
to be shared. I will.
Yes.
I will. Initially, I didn't want to get myself too much into it because people would think that I am on, let me say, on a political vendetta because the chairman of the premix committee happened to have been my opponent in the constituency in 2016. Oh. So initially, I didn't want to really go on that thing because of the perception. But the complaints of the fisher folks is just too much. It's worrying me.
You are watching Face to Face. My guest is the Member of Parliament for Odododoodio, the Honorable Edwin Lante Vanderpuye. Not very happy with the demolition exercise that has gone on in his constituency today. We'll be right back to discuss sports. What would an interview with Lante Vanderpuye be without discussing sports?
I wish we didn't go that way.
Every weekday at 8 p.m., City Newsroom brings you analysis of the major news stories of the day. In-depth, comprehensive, and researched. It's 1 hour of local and international news from 8 to 9 p.m. It's the City Newsroom. Weekdays on City TV.
Welcome back to the final hurdle of Face to Face with the Honourable Member of Parliament for Odododoodio, the Honourable Lante Vanderpuye. Honourable, I won't start with football, I'll start with boxing. I saw you on Saturday, early dawn.
Yes.
In the ring.
In fact,
Game Boy table.
In fact, they didn't give me rest. And it's because of my passion for sports. You know, after elections, I was a bit tired. I should have gone home to have a rest. Yeah. But then I had to be at Tego's fight. It's my boy. And I had a call from Bafojan that I should come and support. So I had to be there.
Well, what have you made of Game Boy's career? There are those who feel he's underwhelmed a bit. You know the sport.
You see, he's a very classy boxer. But what I say about him is that he's sometimes overconfident. He thinks that he's unbeatable. He's lost once, and that should have been a lesson to him. He enters the ring and he sees everybody standing in front of him as anybody that can toy with and do anything. But then the weight he's fighting, I've always maintained that he should be extremely careful. Because that weight is the weight where you have people from Asia and also the South America dominating, and very strong people. Even in America, If you talk about some of the legendary boxers we have, like Mayweather and all those who's fighting in that lightweight division, then you should be more serious. Yes, you have quick hands, you are very intelligent, you have the skill, but one, he hasn't got a punch. And so what you should do if you haven't got a punch is to let your hand speed or your hand always work. Your hand also reduce the sort of, let me say, play or let me say the comedy and all those things, and then focus. Let people have fear in you by the work in the ring and not by the sort of, let me say, artificial boxing you do. You know, standing there and throwing your hands and doing those things. Those are not. If in that division, one blow could end your career. So I've had a chat with him that now that he's moving to America, I'm very certain that they will definitely put all those things in a dustbin and make him a much more serious boxer. Because they will not, I don't think they will allow him to continue doing the things he does.
But explain something for me. What is it about your area and fighting? You've given us 9 world champions. According to official boxing stats, your area has produced the most number of world champions per capita
in the whole world. Yes.
What is it about that?
It's in our genes. It's in our genes. You know, it's like you're talking about Kenya and talking about why are they so good in long distance and in steeplechase. You understand? And even when you go to Kenya, it's not the whole of Kenya, but a part of Kenya. It's the same thing. What we haven't done as a country was to look at the comparative advantage of every region. So, for example, Brong Ahafo region, when I was growing up, had the best long distance runners. How have we developed the long distance event in the Brong Ahafo region? You understand? When you talk about the Yi Owusu, the Stanley, the Kusia Bores, and the rest from the Brong Ahafo region. So now, let's focus on Brong Ahafo region. Who are the talents? Can we do a lot of marathon races and long distance races in Brong Ahafo on their talents in Brong Ahafo? Keep them in the region, let them develop. Brong Ahafo and Volta region, for example. Ashanti region have produced a lot of the speedsters. So what do we do? So it's a matter of just identifying the comparative advantage of that region and developing Greater Accra boxing. So most of the boxing gyms are here. And that is why we develop faster. 2, I started boxing with Edwin in Brong Ahafo in Sunyai, but he came to Accra and developed better and became a champion. Ebodan quite the same. Once you are a boxer, if you don't come to Accra, there's no way you can develop, because Accra is where you get the opponents to train with, you get the people to, the gyms to train and all those things. So when our people started it, boxing is part of us as our local achere. In our local life as a people, we don't talk too much. All that we do, oh, am I the one you are talking to? Then let's get on. You beat me, I turn away. The next time I see you, I give you the full respect. That's part of our nature. Okay. Gas, fishing community. That's why even if you look at, not only in Ghana, but if you look at South America, the Mexicans, that's their way of life. If you look at even England, most of the boxers are coming from Manchester and Liverpool. It's the nature of the people, the coastal line. Oh, okay. If you talk about even Ghana, let me tell you, historically, some of the best boxers had come from the Western region. You're talking about Kokrani and all those people. But because those regions don't have too many of the gyms, Greater Accra, it's always good to say this. What our people encourage is also when we see the talent in any of their children, you don't stop them. They allow them. Okay. And that is what is making the Gans and the Bukum especially. Any young guy, let me tell you, for example, market. There's a small boy who is coming up. The father is called Saddam. Okay. This boy is like, he started around 6 years. The father will take him to training, bring him back. When the big men are, when we have shows, boxing shows, and the big boys are going to fight, the father will bring him to come and just perform. And the boy, he's beating all the bigger boys. He's beating everybody. What it means is the father is giving him that opportunity because he's seen the talent in the boy. In other jurisdictions, no, hey, so they will stop you. Yeah. I'm serious. I'm saying this because Nana Kunedu couldn't have been a world champion if he's continued staying in Sunyai. Because when we started, me and Nana Kunedu Kwamjato, at the Sunyani Coronation Park. Nana Konadu was facing problems as to he continuing with the boxing because the parents didn't want him to. So he has to come to Accra. It's the same. I'm not sure a Kwawu businessman will see his son trying to box and he will continue to allow the son to box. It will happen. If Azuma Nelson again was preventing his son from boxing. You understand? Yeah. But it's the determination of the boy that is carrying him into the sport. So it's the same. We have this thing to encourage. It's the same way if somebody in Kumasi, for example, has a son who develop interest in dancing adwa, they rather push it. So that is what is making us thrive. Unfortunately for us, the indiscipline of our people sometimes also affects us. We would have gotten so many. But the breakdown of discipline in our society is not helping them to develop. Our old boxers were very, very disciplined. I must be frank with you. All the champions we've had in the past, be it Atukwe Krote, Klute Robertson, Fetete, Azuma Nelson, DK Poison, all very disciplined people. Up to the time when you say I quote after quote, then I started seeing some symptoms and signs of indiscipline. Someone like Joshua Krote, in spite of everything, very disciplined boy. If you ask Joshua, he will tell you, I used to take him and the brother, Napoleon Tego and the rest, to Legon to fight. Oh. Yeah, Legon. When we are having SRC week, I take them to Legon to fight. I take them to this place to fight. I used to go around with them. I organized area tournament for them to fight. That's how come Joshua. In fact, Yima was even quite a better boxer than Joshua.
Yes, I see him around.
Yes. Yeah, Yima was a better boxer than Joshua. But Joshua was tough. Joshua was very, very tough from their infancy. Was very tough. He was fighting the bigger boys. And that is what has made Joshua. I wonder how we can really get the sort of boys we've got in the past. This time we may have one, two always coming up.
There seems to be a new crop. You have Richard Comey.
Yeah.
Who came to recently.
Yeah.
He also comes from
from the area. From Asene.
Yes.
And then Tego to the same.
Tego is coming through.
From Jamestown.
What did you make when you heard of Comey's potential unification with Lomachenko, which has been put aside? Because that's what scared you.
Yeah, Lomachenko is a good boxer. But then I believe that if Comey takes his training very serious, as he did before the last fight, he'll be able to surprise Lomachenko. Oh, okay. The only thing I think he still has a problem is the fact that sometimes he keeps his guard too low. I saw it in the last fight. And the problem I think our current boys are having is that it's like they don't fear the blow. Azuma Nelson, in spite of all these things, will not just give his face to you to hit. You understand? Akoto always have his guard up. You understand? Even though they are stronger. But the current boys,
they want to show off.
They want to show off. Richard Comey made a mistake. There was one blow, I think the guy himself was exhausted. If he had followed up, it would have been a disaster.
What do you also make of Isaac Dogbe's rematch with Navarrete?
I think Dogbe should change his style entirely in fighting this guy. Because it may be your style of fighting, but look at the style of fighting of your opponent and develop. It's just like football. Look at Chelsea. We're not walloped the last time by City. Yes. But this time, what happened?
They changed to a plan B.
Yes. So it's not just a matter of this is the way I play, so I'm going to play. No. Your opponent may have some advantages over you. So you change your style to contain his and then have so that you will be in a better way to confuse your opponent. And that's what Dogbe should do. Dogbe should not just go in that fight and fight the way he's been fighting all the time. Coming in, it's not going to be possible. Because if you're fighting a boxer who has a longer reach, fighting a boxer who is also an aggressive boxer, then you have to change. What do I do now? When Azuma Nelson is fighting an aggressive boxer, he will not be aggressive. He waits for the person to open up. He backs up, 1, 2, cut the ring into size, and try and make sure that he always leads. Because as soon as the person opens up, So it will always slow the person down. So his aggression cannot come. But the guy is aggressive, he's aggressive. So if the guy has a better punch and his hand speed is fast, he will always overcome you.
Football. Slow down in the system normalization committee. I heard recently you met the normalization committee. And
yes, in
folks.
Parliament here, but I didn't sit in because I didn't want to. It's all these things, in a way, has some relationship with me. So people think that I'm the cause of all these problems.
Really?
Yeah, some people have been accusing me I'm the cause of all the problems. I brought in a nurse and all those things and all that. I talk about the bulldozers and all those things, corruption and all this. But I've been quiet all this while. What I've tried to do.
Do you see progress being made?
I'm not too happy. Let me be frank with you, Godfred. One, a normalization committee is like a transitional team to put things in place. And I remember very well on the onset, you remember you hosted me and I told you, what the government has to do is one, set up a commission to reform our football entirely. It's not just a blasters or, let me say, Premier League football. Our football, from coast to women's football, everything. And that one will take a long time. So what we should have done is to set ourselves in line. That 3 months that we've been given for the normalization committee is going to end up with a Congress. Have a new body in place. And then that body will set up the commission, which will continue with the reforms. So the new GFA will be embarking upon the reforms that being churned out by the commission. It's like what FIFA is doing. FIFA is in place. Infantino and the rest are working. But then they are embarking upon the reforms that have been prescribed by the commission which was set up. You know there was a commission set up. And they even said all the countries must embark upon these reforms. All these reforms have been lined up. Within 6 months, countries must do this. Within a year, countries must do. And FIFA itself is going around with that. So I thought that by this time, the normalization committee will have ended its work. We will have had a Congress by now. We have a new executive management team in place. And they will now embark upon the reforms that will make sure that all these sort of, let me say, gray areas that festered the autocratic regime of a president and all those things, the president can throw away his vice president, the president can do this without any, all those things could be looked at. What do we do with coast football? What do we do with women's football? Then the reforms we will embark upon slowly and then develop our game. You can't have a normalization committee in perpetuity. I don't think so. It is not right. Because by the time they finish, but the way we are going, by the time they finish their they finish their work, our football is dead. Even now, football is dead. So I thought that within 3 months, we will have ended up by this time with a roadmap to Congress. They elect a new GFA president, executive, and then the executive will put in place a commission to reform our football, bring out modalities and, let me say, program to reform our football. Then we can move on slowly. But the way we are going, I'm seeing a situation where we'll finish, because the normalization committee is asking for an extension of period. It's becoming like a...
They say they don't want one.
They don't want one.
That's what they say.
Okay. But what I see in them is like a regent of a skin or a stool who want to be there almost like a chief and like as a king, and which shouldn't be the case. And I also don't like the bad publicity that is also characterizing their work. You know, I think that they started well with the spokesperson Vanderpuye almost every time coming out and telling the media what they are doing and what they are about and to do and all this. But all of a sudden now, it's like their communication aspect or sector is closed and is giving rise to speculation. It's giving rise to too many things. For example, this week, we all rose up to a very speculative news story about the amount of money that the normalization committee sent to the ministry for the Blasters AFCON, and then the money that the ministry has given and all those things. And I sat back and said, what is happening? What is all this confusion about? Normalization committee. But this is an issue. Have come out and say, this is what we have done, this is what we have done. Because they are not an executive body for now, let me say a permanent or a statutory executive body for now, whatever they do must always be transparent, must always be there for everybody to source information, to know what they are doing, so that the credibility of, let me say, that short term will not suffer. Because already they have come to solve a credibility problem for the FA itself. So if they also suffer a credibility problem, then everything is gone.
Okay. Now, just to wrap up, I know we started with politics and dovetailed into sports, but one final question for you. And this one is political. Any considerations for running mate when it comes to JDM? You want to share?
Sitting here, if JDM calls me tomorrow and say, I want you to be my running mate, I will jump on it. I'll be too happy. I think it is his prerogative, and our constitution, it is he who should choose who his running mate will be. So if he chooses who he wants, the choosing of a running mate is not just a matter of mentioning any name. You look at what the running mate will bring onto the table. How is it going to complement the flag bearer? 2, what are the areas where the flag bearer will be lacking, where he will be able to? 3, you also look at the other team. What team are they bringing? Is it still going to be Nanado and Baumia? If it's Nanado and Baumia, then how do we counter the advantages that they will have? So you analyze the strengths and the weaknesses of the other team, and then you decide. I've heard people mentioning names. Mentioning names for the sake of names is not. 2, I've heard people saying that the running mate we choose should be the one who should take over 2024. It doesn't matter. As I've said from the beginning, we could have a team, John the Mani Mama, Godfred Akoto Boafo, do the work, finish, go, and then we have another person. Because in 2024, if NPP should parade Nanado again, 2024, they will also be coming with a new person. So it depends on the work we have done from 2021 to 2024 as a government. That will give us the edge over whoever NPP will bring. Because even if you say the vice president is the one who should take over in 2024, it's not automatic that person will be able to match whoever the NPP comes up with. Because if you don't choose the right person, but if you choose the right person today, and the person works so well, the person is able to dispose himself so well as a vice president, it becomes easier for the person to contest 2024. So whoever Jomama chooses should be based on careful analysis of the vote. I've heard some people talking about the person must come from this region, the person must come. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. The person should be somebody who is popular enough to complement John Dramani Mahama's popularity to win.
All right. Thank you very much, the Honorable Edwin Lante Vanderpuye. It was a pleasure speaking to you. Like I told you, it's never boring when you sit down with the Member of Parliament for Odododoodio. Time flies quickly. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Face to Face. My name is Godfred Akoto Boafo. Have a good day.